uh, popping up on your screens here soon, letting you know that it is there. And so we are at the halfway point. This is midterm. Some people may have already taken the midterm exam. Some of you have not. On Monday, your midterm grades are going to be posted out to your campuses. Your DOEs are going to be going over those. So anything that you are behind on, this is the week that or the time that you want to be catching up on that. Make sure you have that going. Uh, Another thing is some people are consistently missing those daily assignments, those questions that come up at during the live class, or if you're watching the recorded class, you have to turn in that assignment by 10 p.m. That is your attendance. It doesn't matter how many other assignments you do. If you're not turning those in at 10 p.m., you are being marked absent. Okay, can't explain that any further. Uh, you're going to be absent no matter how many assignments you turn in. That's especially important if you're on military grants, things like that, or special financing, where it is tied to your attendance. You are being marked absent. Okay, you cannot make up that attendance once you miss it. So I don't have control over that attendance. So please make sure you are doing those daily. Okay? Any questions about those daily assignments? You see them in the things there. I will go over those here in just a minute so that you can see that. All right. So I'm going to start off with screen share here. Let me get to that. Tag back here. Here we go. Right here in week 2, make sure that I am looking at this. You will see them out here under the week. There was Mondays, there was Tuesdays, there was Wednesdays. For today, here is the live conference participation assignment. When you see that question today, you're going to come in here, click Start Assignment, Text Entry, and you're going to put your response in here. You can't put that response in here until that question comes up. That's what those are there for. This is a requirement by the school. I don't come up with this assignment. Uh, that is a requirement for your certifications, for your degrees. Again, this is not mine. So make sure that also your signed resume right here. This is another today assignment. You come in here, you've already made arrangements with career services to go in, meet with them, go over your resume. This is a career services assignment. This is not an assignment I wanted to put in here. It's one of theirs. They meet with you, they go over your resume. If you don't have one, they help you create one. Once you have that signed off, you come in here, you say start assignment, you upload a picture of it from your device. If not, you say use webcam and it's going to open this up. You say take photo and it's going to take a photo through your webcam of your document and then you say submit assignment. So make sure those come in. Now, I mentioned the midterm, and I want to make sure everybody does good. I've mentioned this before. Go through this big red help button, click on that. Right here is a midterm study guide. You can click that little down arrow there, and you can download that to your device so that you can print it out, pull it up while you're taking that midterm. Otherwise, you can open this up. All the answers for the midterm are in here. All you have to do is look for them. They're all in here. Okay? So I make sure that you have everything you need to be successful here. To do the midterm, it's under week 2. Come in here all the way down to Thursday. Click on midterm. Now, once you do this quiz thing in here, don't think you should go in there and just take a look around because once you completely go in here and save this, that is your one chance at the midterm. Now you will see some short answers in here, but the majority of the quiz is multiple choice. Okay. Uh, Errol, your microphone's on, so just in case you weren't aware of that, we can hear what you're saying. So just be aware. There you go. And so it is mostly multiple choice. These questions are random generated, so you can help each other on it. It is open book, but I want you to be aware that if you say, what'd you get for question number one? Somebody else's question number one may not be the same as yours. So be careful with that, okay? So I just want y'all to be aware of that. Everybody good on that? Are there any questions on any of that that I've gone over? We're all good? Where's those emojis? Yes, yes. Giovanni's awake. Okay. I'll make sure everybody knows what's going on. Okay. Because
I'm trying to find where that study guide is. I
it's
saw
under
you.
this big red help button right here.
Oh, under the big
Okay.
red help button.
You're on the main page of the class. Okay.
Okay.
You're coming in here. This is the main class screen. You scroll down past the weeks right there. Big red help button. Midterm study guide right there.
What about a midterm study guide?
Okay.
Um,
Got it?
yes, yes.
Perfect. Perfect. All right. Any other questions? I'll make sure everybody has that. Okay. Now, also take a look while you're in there under this help button. There's the things in there, the skills needed by your career. If you look in there, there's links that tell you each under each career, these are skills that you should have. Like if you're a welder, it's going to take you. These are skills that they are looking for you to have as a welder, you know, things that you may not realize. We have some people who go through the welding program. They don't think that you're going to be needing math. They wonder why we require you to take math courses and that. Yeah, you're going to have to know how to measure. You're going to have to know how to add those measurements up, things like that. So, uh, things like that. Electrician, HVAC, medical assisting, vet assistant, those are all in there. That's a good article to take a look at based on your career. Keywords, we talked about those. If those keywords are not in your resume, they need to be because those automatic resume selecting programs won't pick them up. Right here, there's some good keywords to check to see if they are in your resumes based on your jobs. Okay, so take a look at those. All right, so everybody good? Yes, yes. Everybody's good so far? All right, so we're not having a traditional lecture tonight. What we have is, like I said, we have a speaker with us. Let me see which way I need to move this over. We're going to tilt it. There we go. Okay, so this is Steve Perry. He works in the pharmacy out at Bartow Regional, and he brings quite a bit of experience, not just from the pharmacy aspect of it. Besides working out at Bartow, he worked down in South Florida at Cleveland Clinic, which is a pretty prestigious hospital. And in that area, he was in a specialty clinic of that in cancer care, mixing chemotherapy drugs and specialty drugs for the treatment of those patients. So he brings a lot of specialty experience in that. But along with that, prior to transitioning into this career, he worked many years in the service industry as a waiter, as a bartender, and he understands the days of working, money being paid on the daily, working for that tip money. So he understands going through college, sort of like Southern Tech, and learning a new career, going into an entirely different way of thinking, going from a job into a career. So that's a vital change and a whole way of looking and going through that. The other thing that I want you to know is that he has interviewed hundreds of employees for a variety of different positions, and he can offer advice and things that he looks for when interviewing people. So I would like for you to feel free to ask questions directly uh, and pick his brain. So I'm going to open the floor right now to any questions that you may want to ask along those lines, along the interview process or going from being a student or switching careers, etc. Anything you would like to ask. Does anybody have any questions? Feel free to unmute your mic or type them down in the chat box down below. Everybody's shy? Nobody. So I'll start it off.
Got a
Okay, go
question.
ahead.
Based on your experience, what is the best interview you have really had?
As far as in, are you asking him from giving or having somebody come in and give one to him?
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm actually going to do it both ways. Coming from a manager to an employee, well, by the way, my name's Steve. I look for are they dressed for the part? Are they neat? Are they professional? Is their hair done? Do they look sloppy or not? Do they have the right type of shoes on? Because first impression is the lasting impression at your interview. And especially now, moving forward into what I'm doing now, we don't do one-on-one interviews, we do group interviews. So if you come into our facility or to a Baycare facility, you're going to be interviewed by 6 people. And you'll be sitting at a table and talking. My best interview was the job that I got now at Bartow. When I moved here, I researched Baycare. I got their core values. I knew everything there was to know about Baycare and Baycare's pharmacy. So the job itself, I was not worried about because I knew I could do it. I was confident that I could do the job. I wanted them to know that I knew everything about that company. And that way, especially their core values, they like their core values. Any company that you go to really like their core values.
So one thing I want to point out, he mentioned that they've gone to group interviews and that first impression. So when you walk in and it's a group interview, that first impression is now multiplied. So you don't have one first impression as soon as you hit that door. You have multiple first impressions all at one time. So are your clothes wrinkly? Are you wearing the proper attire for the job you're going to? Jeans are never appropriate. I'm going to repeat that. Jeans are never appropriate. It doesn't matter if you're going for a welding position, an electric position, an HVAC position. None of those positions are jeans appropriate. I don't care if they're brand new ever. You change that into khakis, casual dress pants, etc. Those are appropriate. Jeans are never appropriate, even if that's what you're going to wear on the job, because you are showing respect to the person doing the interview. Don't forget that some of the people in these positions that are doing the interviewing, some of the heads of these companies, these managers, they have very high degrees. Your being in a trade does not lessen your
Nope.
value. It does not lessen your intelligence. It does not lessen you one bit. Sometimes people think because of what we do We are less, and that is never the case. So we dress the part. Suits, ties, things like that, that's not necessarily appropriate. Nice dress pants, nice shirts, that's appropriate. It's
Yeah, but then
respectful.
we have been misled over the years then, because you always hear to get a nice, shirt and tie and all this other stuff. We've been misled. You
Yeah,
walked into these places with false information only to fail yourself.
no, not necessarily, because I'll give you an example. When I went for my not the interview, I went to meet my coworkers at Cleveland Clinic. I was at a school called MedVance. It was a trade school, and I was starting my externship. I walked in there in a suit, tie, dress shoes, slacks. I mean, I was dressed to the nine. Every single person in there thought I was a pharmacist because of the way I was dressed. They were like, "Oh, you're just a technician." And I'm like, "Well, not just a technician. I'm going to be your technician. And this is, I dress because I'm proud of what I do. And so only pharmacists can dress in a suit and tie." But that was 20 years ago.
Correct.
So as time evolves and changes, you know the place you're going to be interviewed at. Before you interview there, you go there and kind of look at the place, know where you're going.
It's, you check out the culture. So you go to the website, you look at the pictures of the people that are working there. You dress appropriate. We are in Florida. Florida does not usually dictate a full suit and tie. That's not appropriate for our environment. So we have moved, we are now what we refer to as business casual. That is more appropriate to what we typically do. So if you feel comfortable, yes, you can still wear the
Absolutely.
tie. That is still okay. But sometimes you can overdress as well. Now, for people who might be in the weld industry or electrical, etc., what I tell them is take with you a change of clothes that's appropriate for that career in case they want you to do a weld test or they want you to do something as a work-related test. And you say, I have my tools in my car and a change of clothing if you want me to do that. You always come prepared. Now, how many people are in animal care? I know we must have at least one in animal care on here. Okay, I see a hand come up. If you're in animal care, it's always appropriate to take scrubs with you because animal care interviews, a lot of times they want you to do what they call a working interview. Okay, working interview means you basically work part of a shift without pay so that you can work with the people at that facility and they can see how you're going to kind of fit in. This is the way they can see how you would work with their team. So when you go to the interview, always make it a point, say, I did bring scrubs with me if you would like me to do a working interview. Always let them know you are prepared. So that's a good thing. That first impression, look the part, let them know you came to work as well. So that's a good point. So think ahead, come prepared. Okay. And if you do take tools with you, please make sure they're secured in your vehicle. Tool theft is high. We want to make sure that you're safe. Always make sure if you have work boots, you're not tracking dirt, mud, etc. into the interview. You want to make sure that you are presentable and respectful. Okay. Now, what about once the person's seated and they're across from you? What do you look for as far as that?
As a manager, I look for well, not even as a manager anymore because we're doing the group interviews. Um, uh, we had a girl walk in and dressed nice. She was for a technician position, all the way down to the shoes. She wore flat sandals that you'd wear on a beach. And first thing I thought of is, you're in a pharmacy environment. You're in where there's glass. You're in there where there's needles. You're in there where someone could drop something. So pay attention to everything down to your shoes. Sitting across, I'm wanting to know, are they going to look at me? Are they going to ask questions? Do they know what they want? Um, do they know what my core values are for my company?
Okay, what about sitting up,
Oh, slouching, yeah, don't slouch. Um,
fidgeting?
fidgeting, yes and no. I mean, you don't really want to fidget because then it's going to show that you're very nervous, and that it may come across as you don't know if you should be there. Eye contact is a must. Let them know, I know what I'm talking about. I know what your core values are. I know what the job is. Oh, and be prepared to take a test if you're in pharmacy, a math test, because you will be asked to take a test on the spot, because calculations is 85% of our work.
Okay, so not speaking pharmacy specifically, but math tests
Yeah.
are very common in so many careers. So be prepared that you may be required to take a test relatable to your career. Math is very common in many of them. Welding, you may be required to take one because, again, of the math involved in welding. Electrical, you may be required to take one because you're going to be working with voltages, etc. You may be required to take one as a medical assistant and as a vet assistant as well, because you're working with dosages, etc., and different things. So be prepared. Now, these tests are typically basic situations, but be prepared. Don't sweat it. Always know what you know. Now, you keep hearing the term core values of the company. Companies want to hear about themselves. They like it. They're very egotistical. They want to know about themselves. They want to know that you invested time in them and learned something about them so that you can tell them how you see yourself in them. Okay, does everybody understand that? Let's see some emojis here.
Yes, that's a very good important point that you made out, because I didn't know that, and based on how you explain it and how I've watched some videos on the YouTube thing, it illustrate and give you a good look to the company, that you really have took time out to see who they are, what they're about, how they have grown, how they have developed.
Exactly.
Sometimes you can look into the biography of the CEO, and that gives you a better impression.
Yes.
Exactly. The other reason why you want to do that research on those companies is you may find out they were doing good, but now within the past year, maybe 2 years, they are not doing good. And you may not want to interview with a company that's not doing good, because if they're not doing good, you're the last one in, you're going to be the first one gone. Okay? So think about that. You are a business. Your career is your business, and you want to do it correctly. Okay? You want to invest in yourself. Okay? You need to keep your business going, which is yourself. And if you're not choosing smart, you're not choosing wisely, your business goes under, meaning you could lose your job, or you may not be able to advance. You don't get increases in pay and or benefits. Okay? So you can see that that business will never be your friend. Okay, always remember that business is never your friend. And people will use the term, well, that business is just out for business. Exactly. Always remember that every business is out for business. If not, we call them out of business. Don't ever think that that business is there to be your friend. They're there for profit. Okay. That's what they're there for. If they're not there for profit, they go under. So they will always be there for profit first. That's their number one priority. Now, there are businesses that will give you better benefits, better pay, or treat you better. But the bottom line, a benefit or a business is there to make money. That's why they are formed to begin with. And so that may sound cold, but it's the honest truth. That's what they're there for. And you need to treat your relationship with that business as a business uh, contract, and you negotiate your best contract with them, and you treat them as another business as they treat you. All right. So, what are some things that you have seen in an interview that you immediately thought, this is not the person that we would need? Something that would turn you off in an interview?
Eye contact. Because if you're not willing to look me in the eye as you're talking to me or when you're talking to me, first thing that comes to my mind is, what are you hiding? And why would I want to hire you if you're hiding something? Uh, Posture. Don't get me wrong, some people have poor posture, which you can't do anything about. That's different from bad posture. And looking down, fidgeting, playing with your phone, looking at your watch, stuff like that. Immediately, it's like, you're wasting my time.
So some of those signs, what you're telling the other person is, I have no confidence in myself. When you start not looking at the person, you start fidgeting, you start indicating either I'm not telling the truth or I don't believe in myself.
Oh, I just don't.
So those are very big things, and we need to believe in ourselves. I will always tell you, I believe in you. I need you to believe in yourself the same way I believe in you. Okay, we need to push and pull ourselves up. Know what you know. And if you don't know something, admit it and correct that. Okay, there's nothing wrong with saying, I don't know something, or asking for help. Okay. Now, sometimes people will say, well, that's being arrogant. Okay. There's a difference between being arrogant and knowledgeable. And the difference is knowing what you don't know. An arrogant person will tell you they know everything when they don't. Being knowledgeable say, I know this and I don't know that. Okay. So know the difference between them. Be knowledgeable, don't be arrogant. Okay. Some of you will have mad skills in one area and lack in the other. And that's okay, because then we put you together on a team where somebody else has mad skills in the area which you don't. That's how teams form. That's why we do that personality test to find out where your strengths and weaknesses are, and we build real strong teams. Okay. And that's why they ask you that question. What is your biggest weakness? Not because they don't want to hire you, it's because they need to figure out how to build a strong team. Do you see how those pieces come together and help build a better company, help build a better everything? Don't think that everything is stacked against you. You rearrange the stack for yourself. Okay? You drive that interview. Now, how do you feel when somebody comes in and they've got confidence and they tell you that you're going to hire them, and they start driving that home?
It's incredible. It's like, oh my gosh, and they're actually telling me how they would do the job if they were there. And it's like, okay, all right, we have someone. And it tells me that they're willing, and as they're telling me, it's like, I don't know everything, but I am willing to learn it. Just give me a chance. I will be it makes you feel good, and it makes you want to hire them. But there's a couple of key factors though. Know what you know. Again, don't go in there and bluffing it, because they may call you on the bluff. And then if they call you on the bluff and you can't produce, then we have a problem. But and out of the last 4 people we have actually hired have been like that, and they've turned out to be fantastic employees.
So see, turning the tables and being the one in control of the interview works. You control your career, you control that interview. When you go in and you tell yourself, I'm deciding if this company is going to be the one for me, instead of going in saying, please hire me, that confidence will come through in the interview. You walk into that interview and you say, I'm deciding if this company is right for me. You are in control, and it comes through in the interview, and it works. You are the one in control of the interview. If the interview is going bad, you know what you do? You say, I am so sorry. This is not going to work out. Thank you for your time. You, in the interview, you get up and you walk out. You have the control. You can end the interview just like that. So at any point, to turn this, at any point in the interview, you have the control to end it. The control is there for you. All right?
And believe me, if an employer don't like what they're seeing, don't like what they're hearing, your interview will be less than 5 minutes, because they're not going to waste their time. They're going to say, thank you very much. We will give you a call if we're interested. And they will just end it, because they're not going to waste their time. And how do I know this? Because I have done this myself.
So keep those things in mind, how you control that, and you can emphasize that. Now, you went from a day-to-day cash in pocket job and then went to a career where you had to wait for money.
Yeah.
And also, I'm going to kind of double side this here. What was it like the first time when you had to give up something you were so comfortable doing year after year, and bam, now you have to all of a sudden change gears and welcome to a career that you have no experience in?
The restaurant and bar industry is an incredible industry to work in. If you get the right company, and there's just so many factors anymore. So I got tired of it, and I went back to school, to a trade school. So I did the full-time working. I went to school full-time. I made sacrifices. I have a few friends of mine tell me, hey, you're not going to do this. You don't need to do this. You're fine where you're at. And I wasn't fine where I was at. I knew I had to move on. And I figured out that, hey, you know what? You were good friends of mine, but now no more, because you're standing in my way of growing. The first week of transitioning was hard. I used to have a lot of money in my pocket. Every day I had money. Every day I had money. Now I have no money. I took a salary cut to go into pharmacy. When I say salary cut, because the physical money was cut, but what I gained was benefits, days off, health insurance. So much more that weighed so much more than the physical money did. But oh my gosh, it was just like it was hard. It was hard. I didn't I didn't think I was going to be able to do it because it got pretty tight there at the very end, and then finally the first paycheck came, and it's like okay. And then the second one came, and it's just reorganizing what you do and how you do it. It's like, you know what? I can't do nothing right now because I have no money. Third paycheck in, okay, I'm back to normal now because I have money. But you just gotta budget your time and your money.
So one of the things that I asked last night in the daily question was, name 3 things that you want from a company other than money. And I have to tell you, those that did it were exceptional because exactly what he just mentioned there was how much he gained besides income. Because there are benefits that you may or may not have. And then the money starts coming in and it adds to it. Remember, the money isn't just the only component. And you're going to have to do some evaluations. And when you're applying for jobs, I want you to think the evaluations more than just the money. How close is this job? Will I be able to get to it easy? Is it going to be a stressful commute? Will I really like the people at this position more than the ones at this? If I take the job at this company, they have 5 locations. Are they going to expect me to work in all 5 locations? Or will I be guaranteed to stay where I'm at? You have to look at the bigger picture besides that shiny dollar. So think about where you want to go. This is why we plan. It's not a quick money grab. Okay. So this is why we plan, and I want you to think things through. This is how you will get the best you in the long run. All right. Are there any other questions that anybody else can come up with? This is like your interview where you interview the people in your career. This is how you can find out more information. Don't be shy.
What if you're in an interview, everything is going fine, and then all of a sudden you snag on a question? How do you redirect yourself and try to, catch back the interview instead of just, losing everything right there and then? How can you just redirect things, if I'm saying it right?
Okay, so one of the things, if you find yourself, uh, number one, with no answer whatsoever, say, I'd like to take just a minute to think this through. That'll give you a little bit of time. So don't just quickly answer if you don't have an answer. If you give an answer and you're not happy with it, say, I'd like to respond to that question again. I'm not real happy with that answer. And let them know you're human, they're human.
Right.
And so communication's always best. Say, that answer is not one I'm really happy with. I don't think I answered it the way I wanted to. Something along those lines. Let them know that you did not give the response you wanted to. Okay? And just say, I'm so sorry. I didn't get the answer I wanted to. I don't know where that one came from. And they will respect that. Remember, the person on the other side is a human and they're a professional. If they're not, then that's a sign that that's not the place you need to be. Because if they're not professional in that instance, think of all the places where they won't be a professional. Does that help?
Yes, very informative.
Yes. In all situations, communication is important. And speaking of communication, when you're talking to people in your jobs and you do things like, hey, I need to have next Friday off, right? Get it in writing. If you tell your boss, I need next Friday off, and they say, great, send them an email per our conversation. I have requested next Friday off and you have approved it. Thank you. Send it to them. Write it on a piece of paper, have them sign it. Because as soon as you quit talking and you walk away, you cease to exist. Anybody ever watched Judge Judy? Show of hands, who ever watched Judge Judy on TV? You'll notice every court case that woman did. Do you have it in writing? Do you have it in writing? You don't even have to watch any of the court case. You know, she's going to say, do you have it in writing? Because sure enough, next Friday comes around, you're going to go see that concert. You know, you're going to go see Beyonce and you're going to go have a good time, blah, 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 whatever. And your boss is going to go, I didn't give you that day off. And then you're going to get into a big old argument. Get everything in writing. Same thing when they say, I'm going to give you an increase in salary. Get it in writing. If it's not in writing, it doesn't exist. Communication is important. Always communicate properly. All right?
I want to go back and readdress the not knowing the answer. Also, you're not really going to get that too often because that's going to be going off a subject of what the job is about. But if it's in welding or medical assistant or whatever it is, and you've been studying and you think you know everything there is, and it's like, be honest, I do not know that. I have never heard that's a good question. Hey, after the interview's done, I am going to look it up, see what that is, and I will come back to you with an answer. And that is also acceptable because you're not going to get that. And if they are, they're trying to throw you off to see what you're going to do and how you're going to handle it.
Yeah, the stress questions are there really to do exactly that. Give you stress and throw you out.
Good.
And you can, like you said, you can tell them, I'm not aware of that procedure or that process or whatever. That is something that I'm looking forward to learn once I have the position. You can turn things around, you know, to your benefit. But don't forget, you can always pause,
Mhm.
catch your bearings. All right. So that's a good thing. Any other questions? No? Okay, so
Well, thank you all very much. I appreciate you all giving me the time to speak with you. I hope I helped you, and good luck. I know you all can do it.
all right, we
Thank you.
appreciate it.
You were very
appreciate it.
informative. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. So give me
So I have another question before you go.
okay.
So if you go to the interview and you find that the employer is being a little bit aggressive, how do you try to redirect that to get it to your advantage?
Well,
Who knows what phone call he might have had before you got there,
Yeah.
or
Describe it. Describe the aggression.
well, the attitude in the way he approach you, even address you, or even the mannerism, if he even turns around to even look at you.
Then you exit the interview because the decision has already been made that he's not going to hire you. And if you ever walk into a situation where a person does not acknowledge you, just thank them for the time and walk out and leave. And then what you need to do is find a little bit more information about who their boss is, or find out why they were doing this. But no, don't ever stick around in an aggressive situation.
10-4, I agree.
Always remember, this is a sign of their professionalism.
Yes.
And is this what you want to work with? Because if this is happening now, this will be happening while you are working there. And this is going to be how you're going to be treated. Don't lessen yourself for somebody else. Okay? It's kind of like anybody ever have a bad relationship and you think, oh, I can change the person? It doesn't work that way. Okay? You can't change the person. You're not going to change a boss. All right? So definitely it's not you, it's them.
Mm-hmm.
Find someone that's going to treat you the way you should be. There's better places to work.
Yes.
All right? Okay, so I'm going to do a bit of a screen share here. So let me go back here, and I'm going to go to PowerPoint. And here we go. And this is name 3 things you learned from the guest speaker tonight. I want you to think about what we covered, and I want you to do that for your daily tonight. Name 3 things, any 3 things that were covered, that was gone over, that you learned from the speaker tonight. All right. Everybody good? I got everything? You all are doing incredible. This is the halfway point. When we start back Monday, because we are going into the weekend, when we start back Monday, that is week 3. And please stay caught up, because on Friday of next week, I will be opening the assignments for the final week of the class. So try to stay caught up next week especially, all right? And so if there are no questions, that is it. We are heading into the weekend. Y'all have a great weekend. And
Question.
Yes.
Okay, I miss a lot of the work. Everything that could open, that's not class participated, that could open it so I could complete everything by Sunday. I know certain things you can't open, so I can't complete certain things that already passed.
Everything from week 2 should be open for you. I will go back and see if there's anything from week 1 that you may have missed. The only thing that would not be open from week 2 would be the daily assignments. And I will send you an email and let you know what you have left to do. Okay, Errol?
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. So make sure though tonight you go into the daily assignment under Thursday and put in the 3 things that you learned tonight. Do that by 10 p.m. Okay? That way you get the attendance. All right?
Okay, most definitely. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. And if you have any questions ever, email or text me. All right? That goes for
Okay.
everybody. Okay.
All right.
So
All right. Have a good one.
All right. And we will see you Monday at 6 p.m. All right. Y'all have a good one now.
You as well. Thank you.